Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Dr. Rao coming on to continue my talk on wholeness, fulfillment. I've been talking about last few days on this topic, uh, which is not repetitive, but going into a little deeper each day and really understand what we are meaning by fulfillment. And hi, Sanya, how we can really understand what we mean by fulfillment and how do we find it can vary by the stage of our life and our understanding at the time about the world and everything around us, right? So that was the initial thing I want to make sure. Not everything is going to be applicable for everybody. It's only applicable to the people that are really uh, at that point of life um, with the circumstances around them and with the teachings that they had. They may have different perspectives, but then uh, some of the things that were explored by people who were exclusively on these matters, and then what they showed could be a guidance for other people. It's like a North Star for your journey of your life, right? There's nothing to be judging other people about, or there's nothing to be feeling proud or egotistical about your own North Star that you have in your life, right? So let's continue on. And there were a couple of discussions with a couple of our friends, Hakeem and Terry, as they came up and talked about this topic. And other people also can explore that with me. You are more than welcome for that. But as it's okay, you can just listen. That's fine too. Actually, what I wanted to say today is kind of very esoteric, very much may not be palatable a lot of people. So that's up to you. Okay. But it will be good if you could stay with it and explore that in your life. That will be wonderful, actually. The experience of it at the end of it is wonderful. Okay. There is a deeper wisdom hidden in all cultures. If you go back into their own culture, even if you take Red Indians, we call them Native Indians in America, if you pursue their history, where they came from, what kind of rituals they had, what kind of relationship they had with the nature, with many of the uh, non-perceivable things. That means what we want to see with our senses may not be evident. For example, take energy treatment. These uh, native Indians, they have a lot of rituals that really enhance their energy just by doing some set of dancing, drumming, and singing a particular way of songs and all that. What they really experience in their minds and hearts is totally cannot be described by regular people. Regular people may be looking for a tune for entertainment or drums that are exciting to them, or just a stimulation of sexual appetite, all those things they are looking for, the modern people. Whereas the native Indians are exactly opposite to that. It's more like a sacred thing for them. It's more like calming their senses and taking them deep into themselves. Okay, if that is understandable for you, what I said, I think you stay with the talk. Okay, but if you are really lost in your sensory world or in your crave for enjoyment or enjoyment or entertainment, then what I'm going to say will be foreign to you. But I think still you could absorb that. So be open minded and think about these things at the level I'm talking about and see what happens within you. You don't have to report to anybody. You can just experience yourself and then validate yourself as to what you're talking about here, right? So, see, if you take the uh, ancient generations and the modern generations, there is one stark thing we notice is where they try to, the ancients, I mean, they try to control their senses and go beyond senses for experiences that beyond the senses. You get to sublimate them or control them to experience the deeper dimensions, right? So I think some of that is very difficult for the modern people because they were given into sensory pleasure, sensory excitement, sensory involvement for so long. They cannot really, they cannot will to really sacrifice that. Okay, but then sometimes you won't experience the deeper aspects unless you come beyond the senses. Okay, that's a big difference between the ancients and also the modern. You take American Native Indians, they were very close to the earth and they really thought of themselves as a part of the earth. So their relationship with the earth was very fulfilling for them. Okay, so they want to be part of the earth, part of all the weathers, and respect them and protect them. You know, this was depicted in several movies also. The relationship that the Native Indians have. Their senses are pretty sharp, but they are not slave to the senses. They kind of use them very effectively. For example, I was familiar with a story. It's not a story. It's about a Native Indians' familiarity of this frozen ground in America, in the deep corners of America where they resided, and they knew each rock, each thing so well that when the snow came or ice came, they exactly knew where everything is, right? So they didn't have to draw a map. They didn't have to remember this in a certain way. No, they innately felt where they are, what is going on with that rock, with that everything, right? So it's very unusual because we usually say we have we're animated people and all the other things like rocks and hills and water and all those things are inanimate, right? We kind of distinguish between animation and inanimation. But then they dispute that because when they break down us as physical human beings to all the way to atoms, all the way to strands and stalks and all that, uh, it implodes the structure we thought as our name and shape. Actually, when you go into the deeper aspects of physics, at the end of it, we kind of implode into nothing. you know, that itself is pretty unusual, pretty deep, right? But if you go and ask a nuclear physicist or digital person or a physics person who is really going deeper into the digital world and quantum world, let's say that way, quantum world, they will tell you that at the end of it, it all breaks down to nothing, and we don't have any basis physically, no time, no space, no structure, and all that. That's actually happening now. So they describe your body. There's a new term that's coming up. You'll hear more about it. This is called quantum body. So if you are looking for a very superficial physical body, mental thoughts, emotions, reactions, convictions, and all that, they are very superfluous compared to how we are, what it is being done at the lowest level of the physical body. And at the end of it, they called it nothing, but in Buddhist terms, they called shunyam. And in other cultures also, they said neti. This is nothing. This is not it. That is not it. Like that. Okay. So what I'm getting at is, if you rely only on the senses and you only say whatever I can feel, I can hear, is the only one that I'm going to take it as, uh, you say take it as the truth, then you are missing the point, right? But on the other hand, you say, yeah, something mystical, something unexplained by my sensory perception. There is a lot of adventure, a lot of truth in it. And then you live with that as your uh, regular day-to-day affairs. It's a totally different picture. As a matter of fact, scientists go to the edges like that and then explore the uh, boundaries of whatever we feel, whatever we experience, right? So, if you are not even aware of how to control your senses, how to withdraw them, how to really make them sharp, but that not indulgent. That means you are able to smell a certain food from certain distance. But when the food comes to you, you should be having the resolution or determination not to succumb to the taste. That is difficult, right? This is called um, in pratyahara in yoga practice. What you do is you kind of withdraw your attention from that, your attraction from that, your dependency from that, and then you feel like, oh yeah, I am able to refrain from that temptation, and they really be centered in that wholeness, right? So this talk I was meaning to that wholeness. When you find at the end of your search shunyam, that is emptiness or nothingness. Nothing means not that things are not there, but there's no thing. It is something, but that is no thing. It's not a thing, right? Once you understand that, then you can only feel it with the intuition, not even see it, not even hear it, but what is seen, what is heard, and all that, who is that experiencer? That is the wholeness we're talking about. You know, well, you look for the fulfillment in entertainment, in enjoying, you know, eatery or whatever foodies that you are, and some entertainment and some kind of acquisition, some kind of pleasure. All those things fall apart when you go deeper in inquiry about your own inner nature. And then one of the requirements for that is withdraw the senses inward. And the other thing is, don't entertain the qualities of the senses like a taste, smell, or sight, the sound, or touch. All those things are completely withdrawn and in your control, and the mind is also controlled. Then, with the senses and mind control, you could really touch that inner depth of wholeness. So there's a beautiful poem in ancient wisdom. It's called Purnamidam, Purnamadam, Purnat, Purnastava. Who was used to say that is means that which created all this is whole. Whatever came from that wholeness is whole too. And even if you separate the whole from this wholeness, the wholeness remains. And you kind of receive, you perceive the wholeness all over, permeating, and you perceive that I am part of that whole. So I get in touching with that is the fulfillment. Make sense? Hopefully. I hope you're not driving away people because this is so deep. But it's a very simple thing for people who don't have complexities of their mind or certain tendencies, how your sensations take you, either your sight or your mind with that imagination or with that coincidences with other things, like kind of relates with other things, right? That is not there. Then you can perceive this very, very simply because that is the simplest, easiest thing, closest thing that we have. And because we kind of turn away from it and run all different directions taken by our senses, taken by our mind, taken by our own conditioning, and we forget what we really are. People may glibly say, "Oh, I know myself." You know only your personality that was constructed by your thought, but you really don't know who you are because the instrument you are saying, "I know," is wrong. It's not the intellect, it's not the senses. You got to go away from that and withdraw the senses and go back into your own inner self and watch it when the mind is calm and quiet. Okay. So this fulfillment journey is very important. For that, if you want a fulfillment in human life, these are the things that were practiced by ancients and then they shared with us. It's up to us to find out the truth of the matter. And if you find those tools are really useful for you, you should pursue and then do that. Lots of people get boiled by their own physical life, surviving that and making a living and surviving that. And maybe at the very end, some people may come to this inquiry, but most of the people don't. Okay. But this is the instrument that takes you away from extraordinary suffering and also brings out the inherent, already there, unalloyed happiness. So you not only transcend the suffering, you get this joyful factor from within. And that's why these need to be explored and experienced. If I just say that, that's my word. What is the guarantee of that? But if you experiment, if you understand, if you at least see the fact of how little the sensory enjoyment can last, right? And how more people are really not really enamored, but they're kind of addicted to external pressure, external sensations, all that. It's okay if you just want to do that and you're happy and satisfied. But if you are bored with that, and if you are really identify them as trivial things, and you want to find the inner peace, serene, bliss, and happiness, then you need to do this investigation within you by yourself. Nobody can really take you by hand, but they can throw some light as to how you can travel. But then, having observed that light, seeing that light in front of you, you travel in your life. I hope that makes sense why we should be uh, knowing our full fulfillment, and also uh, operating from that center. And not only you personally transcend the suffering, but also you kind of have this inner joy and bliss with which you come interact with the society, with the other people in the world. Any questions or uh, any doubts about what I said? Clarity only I can tell you, but the truth of the matter, you got to investigate yourself. Don't believe me or don't trust me or anything. Anybody is like that, right? If you just take it for granted what's in the book without thinking about it, understanding about it, and then putting into practice in our daily life, we won't be able to confirm that particular way is going to be really producing transcendence from the suffering and also releasing unallowed joy from within. Okay, there are a lot of explanations, a lot of examples, similes, and all that. But once you see them, you will feel like, oh yeah, this is so simple. I missed it all this time. You know, that's when it becomes very easy, to go through the life and also go through not suffering. That suffering comes your way, but also operating with the joy and happiness. So that's what I was trying to do. I hope everybody is on the same quest sooner or later. Initially, we may be busy studying, or busy working, or busy raising our kids and all that. But then, even at the end of the life, last quarter, at least you should be able to turn towards the deeper issues of like this. Okay, what is fulfilling in life at all? Is it fulfilling if I make a lot of money? Or is it fulfilling if I enjoy quite a lot, all the travel, all the different foods, all the different clothes, and whatever customs that you see in different uh, phases of life, different locations, different experiences, they all point out to one thing, that is, know yourself. Who are you? What is it that makes you as a human being? How is that you are not putting your effort to realize that? Aldous Huxley, I think he wrote a book, Perennial Philosophy was there. His definition is there is a everlasting, pervading energy uh, that is going all around, and it is in us too as a part, and with which it gives the rise to the body and mind, and they take shape. So once you understand that, we got to be with our creator or with our real maker, right? Or that experiencer behind every sense, that thinker that is behind your mind. Once you realize that within you, then it becomes very light to walk. You know, it is very easy to go through the life. Okay? So I hope that's what we are hoping to get. That will help you with the wholeness, with the wellness, and also it helps you healing things with his own hand. Okay. All right. So that's what I wanted to say for today. And if anybody wants to come and contribute, you're free to come. Otherwise, we will close up in a few minutes. Okay? All right. So we saw what is fulfillment on the first day, why we are going after it, what kind of tools we have to go after it. And today I brought in the uh, what is the end goal of the enlightenment or fulfillment, where people are really um, working because they feel like working, but not because some external goal or other. And then when they work, they make some living, and then with that, they kind of sit down and able to reflect and meditate on their own inner thoughts and being. And then they settle down with minimal thoughts, but very rich wisdom. And then calming themselves completely and relating to the people on equal footing, and they contribute a lot. Okay, so calm your mind, withdraw the senses, go inward, and find your real true nature and operate from that real nature, not from your intellectual assessments or cognitive recognitions or concepts, any of the things of the mind. So stay away from the sensory, stay away from the things of the mind, and stay in your true nature, and you can transcend any kind of suffering, and also you can really be happy and joyful in life. Thank you. I'll see you again tomorrow at this time for another short discussion on this. Thank you. Bye bye.